Welcome to Bloodbath and Beyond. Today we review Hellfest. Fun going in, hell getting out.
Directed by Gregory Plotkin, starring Amy Forsyth, Rain Edwards, and Bex Taylor-Klaus. This movie's about a group of young adults who are going to a haunt-style theme park, and everything seems to be going fairly decently until someone dressed like one of the mass entertainers starts to kill and goes on a murderous rampage. So what do we like? I like the setup of this movie. The theme park looks really, really cool, and just the idea is what intrigues me to watch this, because if you go to a haunt, you always kind of think like, wow, somebody could probably get away with murder in here, and people would think that the dead bodies would be props or something like that. And there's always gonna be something in the back of your head like, was that real or was it not?
And I think that's what this film utilized, was the fake outs. Numerous times in this movie, even as an audience member, you're watching and being like, oh crap, there's the killer, he's gonna kill them, but then it just ends up being a fake out and it's one of the entertainers. So it's a cool situation that the film puts you in, because it has you on the edge of your seat wondering, is this going to be the next victim or is it just staged?
And the environment in itself is just enjoyable. It looks like a blast. Like, I don't even like haunts, but I would go to this because it just looks like a party. Like, there's lasers, there's smoke, tons of cool looking bars. Nurse, I'll take 2 more syringes, please. There's just tons of really cool things here that just make it feel like Halloween, and it's just, I don't know, it looks like a blast, especially for horror fans.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of cool that they have to go through like levels to get to certain places of the park. So it builds itself with really awesome situations, plus everyone has the best costumes. And on top of that, they got a variety of rooms. There's like face rooms or arm rooms where they have to like try and like maneuver their way out.
Yeah.
Like it's Labyrinth.
We're helping hands.
I thought our killer was pretty cool in this movie. They really showcased him as an empowering killer. Whenever he was walking, it was always in slow motion, perfectly centered in the frame, so he stood out amongst everyone else. But it made him seem intimidating. He just was a guy in a hoodie wearing a really creepy mask.
This whole movie just has like a really nice polished look to it, which is its style. It might be too polished for some, but I just thought it looked super clean. I also enjoyed our characters. I think our characters were really, really well done. We have like our 3 main girls. The guys are kind of throwaways, but the 3 main girls were great. We've got this super outgoing girl who would probably be too much of a handful, played by Bex. Forsyth plays the normal girl, like the plain Jane stereotype. And then there's Rain Edwards, who plays the best friend. I think their chemistry all was really great together. The guys as well, but they kind of played minor parts. They did a decent job. I just didn't think they didn't have standout roles like the girls did. We also have a couple cool kills, though we can't really like showcase them here because there's only like 2, I think, that are really great, but they're major spoilers, and one had John freaking the fuck out.
I like Tony Todd's cameo in this film. He is the perfect haunted house host.
Right, he basically played the exact same character as he was in Hatchet. He looks the same. He's just got the voice that's going over the entire park, talking to guests, and it's great. It's nice and creepy.
We must spill the blood of a virgin.
And the ending, well, I was very nervous it was going to be bad, and I'm not gonna spoil it. It was really cool. I know a lot of people are gonna hate it, but I actually liked it. Now, what didn't we like?
I wasn't a fan of the pacing of this film. I felt that our kills were too spread apart. Everything just all happened at once. There was a lot of potential where the friends could have separated and did separate at times, but there wasn't any payoffs. And because of that, even though this is only like a 90-minute film, you don't really get a lot happening until that final act. So there's a good 60 minutes where you're like, well, I want something to happen.
And it doesn't help that some of the attractions look similar. Like I said, there's a lot of lasers and cool lights, but once you're in a haunted house, every room kind of changes, but at the end of the day, they all kind of look the same, and you just have people seeing the killer, trying to figure out, is that a real killer or not a real killer, and then walking away. Or running away screaming, and people don't believe them. And that kind of happens over and over again.
You have this theme park where you could do all these awesome theme park kills, but instead you go the fake out route with our main cast.
I think we had almost similar complaints to Bloodfest, which came out around the same time. Now this one is something we've touched on a ton of times in the past, and it's a common trope in horror slashers where you punch the bad guy and you run away instead of finishing the job. That happened too many times in this one. We had a really strong female character in Natalie who kind of like recognized who the killer was and was trying to fight back. She continuously fought the killer, but like one punch at a time, or maybe a couple. And I thought she was doing a pretty decent job. There's so many opportunities where she could have taken the killer out and just opted not to. And I know this happens all the time, and I'm just still sick of it, so I'll mention it every time. Another big one, too much PDA. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, don't go to a theme park, even if it's two couples and like two other people that are just meeting. You two couples, don't start making out at every single instance that you possibly can. You know how awkward these two other people feel? And even if you're not those two people, you're fucking kissing, ignoring all of the cool stuff, you're on a roller coaster, just making out. Why'd you come? Stay home, make out on the couch. You can get way further there than you can on a roller coaster.
Oh, there goes that mood.
Now it's time for our final thoughts and ratings. I enjoyed this movie. It was surprising because it went to theaters, and it is like, you know, a typical slasher. We haven't had a lot of just run-of-the-mill slashers go to theaters, and they're kind of coming back, albeit not as gruesome as it could have been. I'm happy that it had some pretty decent kills. I enjoyed the high production value and the setting in general because it makes for just a fun experience. Just there's so much stuff for your eyes to look at. Like you're constantly looking around, just admiring the location and the lights and the fog and just the costumes, people running around. There's just a lot going on, and it's just kind of high energy all the time. While the pacing does suffer at times, I did enjoy our killer and our characters, so I had a good time from beginning to end. The whodunit aspect was also excellent, but a few more kills spread out throughout the movie would have been a lot better. So I'm gonna give this 3.5 awkwardly high hand dryers out of 5.
From a technical standpoint, this film was excellent. It was beautifully shot, it was beautifully edited. It just looked like a really fun film. Story-wise, I love this concept by telling a story and creating a lot of interesting fake outs. But with that being said, because of it, it wasn't paced as good as I hoped. I would have liked it if the kills were more spread out, or they just had random one-off kills that we could appreciate, because the kills that we do get to see looked awesome. And with so much variety in a theme park, you could have the craziest kills and it would be fresh and unique. Our killer was badass in both the way they killed and how they looked. Overall, this is a good film and I would recommend it. So with that being said, I'm gonna give this film 3 killer clowns out of 5.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If you haven't and you do want to check it out, there are links in the description where you can find it. If this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel to stay updated with everything Bloodbath and beyond.